Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 494 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. We're recording this live on Thursday, July 28th, 2022. I am Chris. I am joined, as per usual, with the typical band of misfits. We'll start first with Mr. Willie D. Nelson.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? I'm assuming there's a round of applause and everything, so I'm just going to let that die out. Wait for it. It's still I can't believe it's still going, man. All right, that's enough. That's enough, everyone. Stop. Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, he's glad to be here, but you know who else is glad to be here? Mr. Anthony Bachman.
Glad to be here and not coming back from SDCC with COVID. Like, apparently a lot of the people got at a convention where they shoved 100,000 people into a building.
You mean San Diego COVID Con?
San Diego COVID Con, San Diego Media Con. Call it anything you want, but Comic Con, because it had the least amount of comics this year than ever. In fact, the biggest booth, Funko.
Yeah.
So not even an original source of entertainment, but literally the toys based on the things is now the biggest thing at San Diego Media Con. So yeah, there's nothing there for comic lovers.
Stepping back
there's
a
stuff
sec.
there for, shoppers.
Yeah, stepping back a sec, the fact that COVID's running rampant through people there when they had a pretty stringent masking policy. The people that worked there were pretty good about telling people to mask up, things like that. They checked for vaccination before you could come in. I think that goes to show, what is this, the BA5 variant that's the current one? How brutal that one is. And I'm kind of just sitting here going, you know what? I've dodged COVID for this long. I don't think I'm going to last much longer. Not for lack of trying, just because it seems like this one's going to get you regardless.
It seems like eventually everybody's going to get it, which is just sad. But yeah, I mean, for what I saw, we watched a video of a YouTuber the fiance really likes, and he does mostly like food reviews and stuff. But like, he went to his first San Diego Comic Con, and like, he showed the super long line coming off the tram where you had to show a negative COVID test and your vaccine card to get in. So like, they were checking everyone. So it wasn't like people were just walking into that building. Like, they had what apparently was a very stringent policy trying to keep everybody as safe as possible, but it's still, you're throwing 100,000 people inside of one building. Of course, I mean, the joke used to be con cred. You would go and you'd smell the con funk while you were there, because it's everybody that's not bathing, that's been standing in lines in the hot sun for hours going into a con, and then you shove them inside of a building. And far too many of them are 14-year-olds that think Axe body spray gets rid of every smell, when all it does is just make it worse.
Most of them. Yeah,
and so you'd smell the con funk while you're there, but then you take 100,000 people from multiple areas of the world, different regions of the nation. They're all carrying, slight, even little germs on you that aren't really kicking your butt because they're local to where you're at, but someone from across the country has never dealt with that specific germ. And then people go home from conventions and talk about having the con crud all the time. I had it when I came home from Lexington Comic and Toy Convention. I had it when I came home from Seattle, Emerald City, because that was the year it went from, I think, 60,000 up to almost 90,000 people. Like, it was a huge convention. Came home, had a cold. It was just an average cold, but that happened at every con before. And now we know there's a much more highly transmittable thing that, like, yeah, it's going to happen. Like, they tried, but, like, people are getting sick.
Well, now there's this whole narrative I started seeing going around of, well, you think you haven't had it, but you may have had it. I'm like, bitch, no, I know I haven't had it because I've locked myself down. And every time I thought I took a risk, I've pretty much quarantined myself afterwards. And the worst I've gotten was a very minor head cold over the last 2 years.
That was a weird thing. We think we actually might have got one of the very early versions of it. The first time we got sick, me and the fiance went to Disneyland in January 2019, right before the world shut down. Mm-hmm. And when we came home, we were both sick for like a week. And it wasn't bad, but like, either we just caught a cold from someone in California, or, we might have had COVID that time and then got it again later. Because, yeah, we both had it since. So
this is my roundabout way of saying they should have done the whole Comic-Con at home thing again, where, you got to experience the entire convention watching it online versus what we got back to this year, which is, oh, you can watch the convention, but now you don't get anything because we're going to show this exclusive trailer to everyone that decided to come get COVID with us. So that's the only way you can see a real good copy of the Guardians trailer, or a real good copy of this trailer or that trailer. And I was like, really? We're back to this again? Come on.
I don't get why, though. Why keep it?
I don't either, because all it does then is make people be like, son of a bitch, I'm going to go see that. And they start trolling Twitter or trolling Facebook or trolling Reddit, trying to find the bootleg copies that people put online, which are not good copies of those trailers and are generally off-axis, bad quality, stuff like that. And then here's the kicker, because people are idiots, they then judge the content of the trailer and be like, oh, the special effects look terrible. And you're like, you idiot, you watched it on a phone camera that caught 3/4 of the picture and was constantly moving. Of course it's not going to look good. Like I saw James Gunn had mentioned, one of the things about the Guardians trailer is some of the special effects weren't ready for people to sit there and like dig through, like we see people do right now when they're complaining about the She-Hulk CGI when it was on YouTube, complaining about, oh, it doesn't look right, this looks weird and compressed. And you're like, well, it's on YouTube. They compress the hell out of things, number one. And number two, they're not done with it yet. The show's not out yet.
Yeah. And every time they show it, She-Hulk looks a little better. And so I'm hoping by release day, Tatiana Maslany is going to look just as good as Mark Ruffalo does in the Avengers films.
Well, and if
that's what happens, that show's going to be amazing.
You also have to keep in mind the platform on which you're watching it. Like YouTube is great for consuming videos and things like that. But they serve millions of hours of video, and in order to do so, they have to compress things a lot. So even if you get a 4K copy of it, it's still going to be compressed. You're going to have weird compression artifacts. You're going to have things that smooth out the wrinkles you would have in a CGI face. That then, when you go and look at the version that Disney puts up on their website or on the Apple movie trailer site and stuff like that, you're like, holy shit, this looks better than I thought it did. It's just one of those things. I don't know. I'm still getting back to that fact of life is back to normal, and they've gone back to making it so that the only way you can fully experience these things is by bootlegging or going to Comic-Con.
Well, and look at the bootlegging really hurt. What was it? Well, I mean, X-Men Wolverine's Origin wasn't a great movie anyways.
Oh, it was bad.
But when the bootleg of it leaked with no CGI in it, like so many people saw that, like, well, that movie looks like crap. I'm not going to pay to see that in the theater. It's like you're literally watching something that had like previs, like airplanes flying through the World War II scene. It was literally pencil drawings. And people are like, well, that looks like crap. It's like you downloaded a bootleg of a movie that's got like 8 more months of CGI work to be done. What did you expect it to look like?
Well, I mean, in that case, that movie didn't really come out to be the best looking at the end result. Remember when his claws came out the first time? It was like,
I mean, the special effects weren't bad when it was finished. There's the plot of that movie and some of the executive decisions about Deadpool were much worse than what was done with the special effects. Oh, we're going to take the merc with the mouth and get rid of his mouth. Yeah, genius idea. I wonder why they try to act like that movie doesn't exist.
Speaking of Deadpool, I was disappointed that one of my predictions didn't come true. Is before Comic-Con, they announced that Disney Plus in the United States was going to be having Logan and Deadpool 1 and 2 arriving this last weekend. When the convention was going on, I went, oh, that means they're going to announce Deadpool 3. They didn't announce Deadpool 3.
Nope.
I was hoping.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a bunch of stuff. We're going to get all the stuff that Marvel's holding back is going to be announcements at D23.
There's 8 movies / series left. I think Feige said that they did not do at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, Disney has their own convention. So why give everything over to San Diego? It's like they had a presence this year. Like they definitely, Kevin Feige announced a lot of stuff and they showed a lot of stuff, but it's like, we have our own convention. Why give everything to San Diego Comic-Con when we don't have to?
And I'm not trying to engage in fanboy wars here. But I was very surprised at the difference in announcements and number of announcements between Warner Discovery and Marvel / Disney. We got a Shazam trailer. It looked really cool. There were rumors Henry Cavill was going to show up. No.
Yeah, rumors.
I mean,
we got The Rock standing on a piston.
Yeah.
And some poorly timed smoke.
Cavill's got COVID right now, so he can't travel anyways. We found out. They paused filming on The Witcher last week because he had COVID. So he wasn't coming to San Diego Comic-Con. But, I mean, and then we get the news coming out that we've heard before, but it was reiterated again with the new execs that they don't know how to make a Superman movie in today's world. I'm like, are you kidding me?
They're idiots.
They already did. They made a great one, Man of Steel. It was a great movie. Still is great.
That was a movie that had characters sort of inspired by Superman.
Still a great movie.
Definitely not a Superman movie. No, I saw it going the other day. Someone was asking online, like, if you could throw a director at it, like, what director would be a great choice to direct a new Superman film? And
Zack Snyder.
Shut up. You're an idiot.
I'm right.
bunch of people were throwing around a bunch of different directors, but the one I came up with, I think it would actually be awesome, is they just need to let Brandon Routh direct a Superman movie. Brandon Routh understands the character of Superman. Maybe better than any actor working today. He understands Superman.
Then why wouldn't he write the script instead?
Hell, he could write it, direct it, and star in it, and it would be a hell of a lot better than Man of Steel.
But you also have to have
Superman
Warner
Returns,
Discovery
I'll give you.
interested in making a Superman movie, and they don't seem to be.
Well, their problem is they don't have a single executive, apparently, at Warner Brothers that actually loves their characters. They just have executives that want to make money, and so they keep putting out schlock after schlock after schlock, where they're not getting somewhere like where James Gunn came into the meeting for the Guardians, and Kevin Feige said, hey, we want to do this like space adventure, Indiana Jones type thing. Do you got any ideas? And James Gunn left that meeting and was like, I really don't. I don't like with the characters you got here. It's like, I don't have an idea. So no, thanks. And he said no and walked away. And instead of Kevin Feige going, no, you're going to do it. We're just going to throw money at you and just make us a movie. He let him go. And then when James Gunn thought about it later and said, hey, wait, can I get these characters? Because I have a really cool story that I could tell with them that'll work as the Guardians. And then they're like, yeah, let's do that. Because they got a director that had a good idea and wanted to make a film. Instead of DC going, hey, here's $500 million, make a movie. Like,
Yeah, well,
they don't
they
seem to have
fired him.
any. Yeah, they don't seem to have anybody that's actually coming to DC saying, hey, I have a great idea other than Matt Reeves. And the new Batman is really good. But why is Batman the only one they can get right outside of Shazam and the first Wonder Woman movie? Shazam is straight from the comics. That's exactly what was written in the last rehash in the 52. It's straight from the comics. The character is perfect translation from comic to screen. It's funny. It's a super powerful character. They made the villain weird, but whatever, it didn't ruin it. Wonder Woman, they got one of the best like action sequences ever, and that was the one that the DC executives wanted to cut. They wanted to cut the No Man's Land scene. It's like the best scene in the movie.
It's going to be interesting now because most of those executives are gone now. Now that Warner Brothers has been bought by Discovery, most of those folks that were steering the ship, for lack of a better term, are gone. So everything that was in motion continues. It's a question of what are they going to do going forward? And that's why I sort of brought up this disparity we had between Marvel and DC here as to what all was presented. Not to be a fanboy, but to be like, maybe these new execs, these new leaders can kind of realize that, hey, we have the rights to these characters that are pretty damn influential, pretty damn famous. Lots of people like them. We need to figure out what we're doing with them and do something better with it.
The three most recognizable symbols worldwide are the Red Cross. For the Red Cross, just a mark for a medic, a Red Cross. Number 2 is the Superman S, and number 3 is the Batman logo. How are you not putting out Superman films when you're DC, when you're Warner Brothers?
I would have thought the Coca-Cola logo would have been number 2.
No, because it
Or
still has to be read
McDonald's.
in different languages, and that's not a logo, that's writing. The Coca-Cola logo is Coca-Cola. I'm saying just symbol. Just actual
symbol was a better way to put it.
Like the Superman S is one of the most... It's an S inside of a diamond, which is very specifically marked with a character created in, the 40s. And it's one of the most recognizable
You're
symbols
taking the
on
piss
the
out of
planet.
typographers, and I will not stand for this. It is an art form, you son of a bitch, and you know it. You're
right. You won't stand for it. You will sit on that couch, and you will take it.
I'm comfy on this goddamn couch.
That's what I thought. No, it does. It makes
right.
me sad because I look at someone like Greg Berlanti, like because they tried it with Jeff Johns and like they couldn't give him the control he wanted to do whatever he needed to do with the an actual a group of universe of movies that all interconnect and be able to do like what Kevin Feige did with Marvel. So then they tried the Zack Snyderverse, and that shit didn't work because they just tried to go dark after Nolan, which is always the bad example that we see at the DC movies. Batman's dark, it works. Okay, make everything dark. And they always learn the wrong lesson. Over and over and over, we learn the wrong lesson. A dark Superman is not the story you want to tell. You put Superman in our world and see how he reacts to it. But he has to be that hopeful character that honestly believes that humanity can get better. And when he's not, when his dad says, maybe let the kids die, it falls short of the character and is sad. Because That's not the Superman that's ever been written about. Just like, I mean, we won't even talk about the Flash because that's even worse. That character never existed in the comics, what they put on screen. The autistic Flash, Cave Flash, doesn't exist. That character was never written in a comic book. That's something apparently Zack Snyder and whoever the idiot scriptwriter for Batman vs. Superman came up with. It's awful. It's an awful version of the character, and now we know we'll hopefully never see it. But they have all these great characters. They need someone like Greg Berlanti, who took Green Arrow and said, okay, I'm just going to tell Batman stories with Oliver Queen. And it's going to be amazing, and people are going to love it. And he got, 10 years of TV out of it and 7 more shows. They created an entire universe of connected shows, just the way comic book storytelling's done. Made them all work together, had crossovers, but you could just go watch DC's Legends of Tomorrow and not watch any of their other ones if you didn't want to. You could watch just Arrow and be just fine. You could just watch Flash. You didn't have to watch everything, but it was an interconnected universe. They need to get that one person in charge that actually loves the characters and then let that person make decisions. Until DC does that, they're going to fall short.
I just want to see it do well so that we can have these Comic Cons in the future and be, holy shit, I love everything I saw from DC, and I love everything I saw from Marvel, and not necessarily have to have the fanboy competition of, oh, we smoked you, we're Marvel fans. No, just be like, holy crap, we got a lot of cool content for a lot of characters I'm really interested in. That's what I want. I'm too old to deal with these fanboy wars anymore. I don't care about that.
I love it in the simple fact that competition is supposed to bring a better product. That's the whole point. People are talking about like, oh, Disney should buy DC. That would be the worst thing ever. If Disney bought DC and the two biggies, they're literally called the big two for a reason. They have been for 60 years now. If Disney bought DC Comics, it would be the worst possible thing to ever happen to the media. You need two companies going head to head saying, hey, we're going to make our superheroes over here. You're going to make your superheroes over there. We're going to try to make ours better than yours. Because if that's not happening, then that gets stagnant and we lose growth. We need the two big companies going head to head. We need somebody going to DC saying, hey, I have an idea for Superman that's going to be more like heartwarming and tell a better story than anything Marvel's done with any of their characters they made you care about. I have a way to make people care about Superman. They need someone in there doing that so that we get another thing like we had in 1978 when Christopher Reeves was Superman. They put out posters that said, you'll believe a man can fly. Like Richard Donner made an amazing film. Kevin Feige shows that film to people before they make Marvel movies. What does that tell you about DC? They have like the great characters. They have great origins. They've had great stories written about their characters. There are ways to make those stories into amazing films if you put the right person in charge. And so far, they just haven't.
And before people start saying it in the comments or on Twitter, it's not Zack Snyder. And it's not me taking a shot at him. It's just, it's not the right choice. I mean, it's too controversial at this point in time because there's some people that are dug in like never anything from him. And then there's so many people that are the Restore the Snyder Cut stands.
Ugh.
Well, I mean, did the Snyder Cut improve the film?
That I would have to watch it to know.
It does.
So I'll say two things to that, Willie. I'll say two things to that. Yes, and it was a very low bar.
Okay, I don't care. Still passes it.
Yeah, no, it was an improvement on what Joss Whedon did with those characters, and also finding out the crap he had going on behind the scenes. It explains why he didn't get really good use out of Cyborg and some of the other characters, because apparently Joss Whedon is a jackass, and so now we're all aware of that. But yeah, it's the fact that Zack Snyder was taken off of it and then brought back onto it. Good for him, because the reason he left that film is awful. I have never had anything bad to say about Zack Snyder other than I don't think he gets Superman. As a director, I think he's one of the world's greatest cinematographers. He can make anything look pretty. That dude shoots the hell out of some pretty-ass movies. 300 is beautiful. Watchmen is beautiful. Batman vs. Superman is a beautiful film. Man of Steel has multiple beautiful sequences in it. It is not a Superman story. He doesn't get the character. He makes amazing films. I think they need to get someone in there. They could put Edgar Wright as a director and just get Zack Snyder as a cinematographer, and you'd get the coolest, funniest damn movie ever made. Put those two on an Ambush Bug movie, it'll sell $1 billion.
And a what?
Ambush Bug. Yeah, I went deep.
No, what is
deep
that?
DC. It's a DC character. His name is Ambush Bug.
No one cares about whatever.
Oh
the
no,
fuck
there
that
are
is.
there are 10 to 12 hardcore ambush bug fans out there that just went nuts if they're listening to this.
And how many of them do you think are listening to this?
Maybe one. We're lucky.
Yeah, maybe.
Keith Geffen had a lot of fans. What was it? Trenchcoat Man was the one he did. Ambush Bug. He did some weird the Justice. Was it Justice League? The one with Guy Gardner and
Is that Justice League Europe?
Europe, yeah.
Yeah.
The one where Gardner got punched by Batman.
I think that's what I don't remember. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, send me comments on Twitter. I'll take my beating there.
Send the heat mail. Bring it on.
Send the
Yes, all
hate
you
mail.
ambush bug fans, send
That's
your
right.
hate mail straight to him because he deserves every last
Love it.
one.
So we sort of touched on San Diego Comic-Con. I guess it makes sense that we should just pivot into the news of the week because there's a bunch of news that came out of San Diego Comic-Con, and I think 2/3 of our news comes from there. So let's roll on
There was
in.
a lot of it.
Hip it, finna hit it.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Hey, it's the news of the week. It's where we're going to talk about Comic-Con some more because you haven't heard enough about it already. And it's the part where people are going to send me messages being like, I
mean,
thought
yeah.
you didn't want to indulge in fanboy wars because I'm going to talk about the Marvel reveals because that's one of the things I was most interested in coming out of San Diego Comic-Con.
There was some good ones.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed watching the trailer for like Shazam. That was really interesting. I enjoyed hearing some stuff about some of the upcoming animated series and things like that. But
Well,
there
dude,
wasn't a ton.
I threw a truck at a dragon. I love my life.
Yeah.
Like, that line is so good. I can't wait for Shazam 2.
Me neither.
The first Shazam movie was so good. I love that film.
So let's move on into MCU. We talked about the end of Phase 4. We talked about Phases 5 and 6. We talked about new animated properties. There was a lot of stuff that came out of it. And I'm just going to scroll through this article I found that's got some high points. We'll discuss them.
Let's hit them up.
We got the trailers first for She-Hulk and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. They were released to the public. Everyone got to see them.
Is it She-Hulk or She-Hulk Attorney at Law?
She-Hulk
What's
Attorney
the-
at Law, excuse me.
Okay, I was going to say, I think the official title of the show is Attorney at Law, which I love. I love that they
Wait,
did that because it's the Dan
for real?
Slott
Yeah,
She-Hulk. Yeah.
That's
It's
the
her
full
as an
title.
attorney.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is so dumb. That is so
It's straight
dumb.
out of a comic series.
Dude, yeah.
I know, but what does
Dan
that make you
Slott.
think of? Chris, I know you know.
Ally McBeal?
No, it makes me think of Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just what
that's, that's fine. It's supposed to be
Did you get that
hilarious.
thing I sent you? It's a callback from that show.
Is
So,
it? All right.
as part of the She-Hulk trailer, we got an idea of a bunch of the cameos. They started putting some stuff online, talking about all the cameos. One of my favorite ones I saw was Tatiana Maslany breaking the fourth wall, talking about, no, I swear, it's all my own series, except for when Bruce shows up, or when Wong shows up, or when Blonsky shows up and starts cutting all these other people that were announced there.
But yeah,
one
and
of
the fact we got Tim Roth.
Yeah. But one of the
Like, we got
coolest
the
things
Abomination.
coming out of the She-Hulk trailer was we don't actually see it confirmed, but it confirms, we don't actually see a face rather, but it confirms the rumors we heard going around, I think they pretty much said it's happening, is one Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, played by Charlie Cox,
I say AKA Charlie Cox.
Is
very
returning
specifically
in
Charlie
the
Cox.
role of Matt Murdock, Daredevil, in the show. And the teaser trailer itself ends with a person jumping and flipping into the frame that, from what we can tell, is wearing a very Daredevilish costume. We don't see the headpiece, we don't see their face, anything like that, but the costume looks very Daredevil-like, and I was very excited.
I was very excited for that. I was so hoping that the new show would be called Daredevil Man Without Fear, because
Well,
it makes it so easy.
we didn't
to go
even
with
get to that news yet either.
But yeah, the title that they dropped is, I totally forgot that was what the Frank Miller story was called. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect for a show that they're bringing back from Netflix and relaunching it with two of the same actors at least. We know we get the fat man and we get the blind man. We don't know about anybody else. We know those two actors are in.
Foggy. I like that actor.
So we're bearing the lead here. We'll get back to the She-Hulk stuff in a second. They also announced Daredevil Born Again is coming to Disney Plus, and it is 18 episodes, and they announced Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio would be returning to play the roles we saw them in from the Netflix series. Whether that means they're the same Matt and Kingpin from those series, we don't know.
No, I think they're going to be the version of Kingpin that's from Hawkeye and the version of Matt Murdock that we saw in Spider-Man. How'd you catch that brick? I'm a very good lawyer.
He's a very good lawyer. So they did announce that is coming. We don't know much else, but the fact they said 18 episodes was... I kind of went, holy shit, that's a lot.
Awesome.
Because it's what, like 6 or 8 we get for most MCU shows so far?
Yeah, I think Miss Marvel was 6. I think Hawkeye was 6.
Yeah. So going
Moon Knight was 7 or 8.
Rolling back, though, the Daredevil thing's coming. They're bringing back a bunch of cast. That's awesome. Let's go back to She-Hulk again. They put out a new trailer, and it looks pretty good. And they did some viral marketing for it. They're handing out flyers at San Diego Comic-Con with a phone number on it to call if you need legal help that takes you to the switchboard of the law firm she works at, where she's in character as She-Hulk, telling you about different things that are going on in the law firm, and here's who you need to call for this and that. It was delightful, and it looks like a lot of fun. And what we've seen so far looks pretty lighthearted and fun, which kind of ties in with what Dan Slott had done on that arc of She-Hulk. I was kind of bummed when I saw on Twitter that he'd mentioned he doesn't have a cameo in Season 1 of She-Hulk because of different COVID restrictions when it came to filming and things like that. And I was like, damn, I was hoping at the very least they'd have him like on the background on a TV show or something like that, because you don't necessarily have to be on set to do that. You could record something literally just sitting at your computer like you're doing an interview somewhere. But I was bummed to see that. But She-Hulk Attorney at Law looks pretty good. I would argue that the CGI, as we get closer and closer to release, starts looking more and more polished. So people who are
in a month.
Yeah, in about a month. So people who are freaking out because She-Hulk didn't look right in a trailer we saw 2 months ago, calm down. Calm down. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We also got the trailer for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which we all know seems to be kind of a pivot into more telling a story of Wakanda and the Atlanteans and Namor, because Chadwick Boseman passed away, so T'Challa's passed away in the movie. We see tributes to him throughout. It's a beautifully shot trailer. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on at times, but it's beautifully shot. And I'm intrigued. I want to see where they're going with it.
It does look good. And yeah, we get a shot of, we get Namor, we get supposedly the new Panther. We see tributes of the fallen Panther, so we know that T'Challa's dead. We hear the mom like giving a speech somewhere talking about the fact that her husband and her son have both, I don't know if she says murdered or she's lost them.
Lost or have fallen or something like that.
Yeah. She's like, I'm the queen of the most powerful country in the world, and I have nothing to show for it because my family's gone. Like, friggin', ooh. Mama Panther's going to be mad as hell at some people. Like, I don't know who she's going to be mad at, but I wouldn't want to be him.
So, ooh. Excuse me. There's people that have gone and translated some of the Wakandan script we've seen in the movie in different scenes to what it says. So there's one scene where we see the Royal Guard and they're standing in a room and you see writing down the wall just on different columns. And they translated that to say, in power, T'Challa, our hero, in honor forever, is what that translated to. And I'm trying to find the other one I'd seen that was translated. I just can't find the link.
Yeah, because I saw the one they translated. It was like the painting on the side of the building.
Yep.
Where it was like, you know, like they had the stuff that Tom Holland saw of the dead, you know, Iron Man. Now you have like these murals throughout Wakanda of T'Challa on the walls in the city.
So I found that one right now, and it's the mural. We can't see it all because part of it's obstructed by another building. But it says, the Panther King forever lives in us, and we can't tell what the rest of it says because it's obscured. So there's a lot of tributes there. And I know there's a big movement. There's also the recast T'Challa movement we've seen out there. Not necessarily because they're like, oh my God, we don't want to see how this goes forward. But they found interviews with Chadwick Boseman where he basically talked about what a privilege it was to do that and how others should have that ability and stuff to the effect of it came down to the character shouldn't just be limited to him. So I understand the recast T'Challa movement we've had out there. But like I said, when this all first came up and they started talking about pivoting the movie to be about T'Challa being gone also, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Disney doesn't have a good solution here. So I think Kevin Feige's going with what makes him comfortable, which is paying tribute to someone who worked for him, that they had a relationship of some kind, and letting his performance live on. And come on, guys, we know this is comics. There's nothing saying that 6-10 years from now they can't do something where the multiverse shifts and we have T'Challa back but looks different, or from another universe in there, things like that. I'm personally okay with them moving forward without him because they want to honor him, and I think it'd be tough shoes to fill so soon. if someone else is coming in to play that role. And even I hope they would nail it, things like that. But could you imagine the pressure that a new actor would be under to be like, hey, Chadwick Boseman nailed this role. There's so many people that associate him with it. He went and did all the press rounds with it. Everyone knew him as T'Challa the Black Panther and things like that. It's really tough to walk in and have to do that.
I don't know if it's supposed to, I mean, where you say like Kevin Feige trying to do the right thing. I think it might be more on the head, honestly, of Ryan Coogler.
That's true too.
You got the guy that directed, 3 amazing films in a row with Michael B. Jordan. He brought the Creed franchise forward off of Stallone's characters and made people love like this, the son that nobody knew about, Adonis Creed. Did those amazing films. He comes and he does Black Panther, which is, I mean, for all rights, like the greatest superhero movie ever starring a black character. Like, it's amazing. It did record box office worldwide. Every little kid that year was Black Panther for Halloween. It's a fantastic movie. And then your actor dies. But the same guy is in charge of producing and directing the new one. He's also listed as an executive producer on the Ironheart series and an Untitled Wakanda Project of TV series where he's as a producer. So we know Ryan Coogler is still like deep in the Marvel stuff. He's working on these characters. I would trust in him to make the right decision. Ryan Coogler's not going to let anybody harm the legacy that they built with that character and the legacy that that actor has in his community, because Chadwick Boseman was amazing. He did so many amazing characters in such a short period of time. I don't think Ryan Coogler, like there'd be riots. Like if he, said, hey, this is awful and I'm walking, like people would lose their shit. And so the fact that he's on board with whatever they're doing with Marvel, with Kevin Feige, with Marvel Studios, it makes me trust in the fact that they're doing the right thing for both Chadwick Boseman's like memory and the character. Because it's like James Bond. Like someone's going to play Black Panther again in the future. It's just a question of when. And maybe doing it in this movie is just not the right time. And so you get the sister who in the comics became Black Panther for a while. The sister took over and wore the suit. She was a badass. And also in this trailer, we saw a character busting out an little iron heart out of a piece of metal. Like the most like literal translation of a character I think I've ever seen on screen. They actually had her breaking a chunk of metal into an iron heart because we know the Iron Heart show is coming. Like they've got a lot to work with there. And we're also introducing Namor, the second oldest mutant, which now we've used that word in the MCU finally. So that word has been brought up. We have talked about mutants and now they're going to show one on screen in an MCU movie. So like, there's a lot for them to work with. I trust that Ryan Coogler is going to make this movie amazing.
So as far as
that guy is great.
As far as we can tell, there's no mutant specific stuff in Phase 5 because they did unveil the entire timeline of what comprises Phase 5. And we're going to power through this because my news has been taking too long. I apologize. But coming up February 2023, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania that kicks off Phase 5.
You just add quantum in front of every word?
Right, exactly. And they did show off a trailer for that at San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't watch any of the leaks that are out there. I'll watch something whenever it comes out. The next thing
means we'll see it soon. They
also showed a trailer for is the Secret Invasion show on Disney Plus, which is slated to premiere spring 2023. Nick Fury and Samuel L. Jackson is the lead basically for that one.
Well, and that's somewhere where you could have your Black Panther replacement.
In theory, yeah.
A shapeshifter was, T'Challa. That's who got killed. Oh, here's this person that looks a little like Chadwick Boseman, and that's actual T'Challa. They bring him back. For those that didn't read Secret Invasion, literally a spaceship crashes on Earth, and like 60 superheroes and villains crawl out of it, and you find out they've all been Skrulls for like 30 years. Yeah. Like, it's ridiculous.
And there's rumors that Daisy Johnson's coming back for this too, which is also interesting. But continuing through with the Phase 5 stuff, May 2023, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, there was a trailer shown for that at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Then summer 2023, the Echo TV show, the character from Hawkeye.
Which was awesome.
Summer 2023,
cool to see what they do with her.
Season 2 of Loki. July 29, 2023, The Marvels, which is the movie with Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and presumably... Did they give Monica's daughter's character a superhero name yet, or are we just assuming she's going to be Photon?
I don't know if they ever actually called her Photon, but yeah, like she's definitely leaning towards the Photon character from the comics. If you've read into old school Avengers or West Coast
Maria.
Avengers, because
Sorry, I don't know why I said
Maria Rambeau. Yeah, she's definitely heading towards being Photon.
Or was it Monica? I don't remember. November 2023, Blade.
With Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, which is good. We hadn't seen much about the future of it, so at least it's still in the release schedule. Then fall 2023 on Disney Plus, we have Ironheart, taking us to winter 2023. Agatha, Coven of Chaos on Disney Plus.
What the hell is that going to be about?
More
it's
with
just
magic.
To be about the fact that Catherine Hahn's amazing.
Well,
so just give her a show.
It could also be the way to bring Wanda back.
True, because there's a million different Wandas and different multiverses, and if they like working with that actress,
there's no guarantee that Wanda's dead from the Doctor Strange movie.
I know.
That's true. Plus, it's comics. Nobody stays dead.
Spring 2024, Daredevil, Born Again. This is the series that we kind of touched on earlier. 18 episodes, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio return, taking us to May 3rd, 2024. This is Captain America, New World Order. Now, there's obvious professional wrestling jokes to be made there, which we won't do. But remember, back in Phase 2, was it? Civil War was called the Serpent Society. I don't think this is the real title for Captain America 4.
You think it's going to switch?
I think it's something else. I think they're messing with us again.
Could be.
That they just don't want us to know what it's going to be. That's just a guess. I have nothing to back that up.
The only thing we know is that it's going to be a Captain America movie starring a guy named Clarence. And Clarence's parents have a real good marriage.
And then to wrap up Phase 5, this is the Thunderbolts movie, July 25th, 2024.
And that one, I'm so intrigued which direction that's going.
I hope they go just what Busiek did when they started the Thunderbolts series.
OG launch.
OG
so
launch.
It's Zemo and a bunch of guys that are supervillains pretending to be heroes to get away with shit. And unbeknownst to them, they get a superhero put on the team that kind of almost gets them all to kind of do good things.
Yeah, the problem with that is the best thing about Thunderbolts issue number 1 is nobody knew the twist. Everyone's like, oh my God, we're getting new superheroes. This is really cool. Because in the comics at that point in time, Onslaught had killed off like everyone. The Avengers, the Fantastic Four, all sorts of people were dead.
I'm trying to remember. So because you got Mach 5,
which is
the Beetle. Jolt. Yeah, you got Jolt, which was the girl, which was the only actual hero, which was the new teen hero they added.
Then Songbird.
Songbird was Moonstone. You got Citizen V, which was Zemo. Trying to think, because there was like 6 of them total.
What was the giant guy's name? Was that Goliath?
Oh yeah, and they just slapped a different name because all the shapes, all the size characters are just interchangeable in Marvel. Yeah. There's so many of them that grow to giant size. Yeah, right. Goliath, Gargantuan, big guy. They all have stupid names.
Big guy.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of funny. When the comic came out, nobody knew that Mach 5 was Beetle. Nobody knew that Citizen V was Baron Zemo. And there was literally a team of supervillains just trying to get one over on the public and be able to get away with anything they wanted because they were just pretending to be good guys. And it worked so well. The stories were great. Along the way, like, everything changed, and the new comic now is basically Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad.
Right.
It's supervillains get put on a task force team. They work out of Thunderbolt Mountain, and they get sent out to do missions. If they die, no big deal. And there's been some really good stories told in that context, but it really now feels like, kind of a knockoff of Suicide Squad, just, different writers. But yeah, that original concept, man, if they do a Thunderbolts movie and they're introducing the new teen superhero Jolt, and it's, a team of good guys, that is going to be hilarious for the people that don't know the twist. Go to that movie, and then at the end of the movie, Citizen V takes off his mask, and it's Zemo from frickin' Civil War. You're like, wait, he's a bad guy. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Like that'll be fantastic.
It's going to get ruined for some folks, though, because they'll start talking about all the casting and stuff. Like, Daniel Bruhl's in it, and then they'll be like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, why is Daniel Bruhl in it? He's a bad guy.
In it? Yeah. So that wrapped up Phase 5. They gave us a taste of Phase 6 also, which we'll talk real quick. Kicking off Phase 6 in November 2024 is the new Fantastic Four film, which does not yet have a director. That needs
or
to be
any
out.
Actual casting.
Yeah,
everything is rumors.
We should have some casting probably by next year. one would hope. Maybe next year's Comic-Con is when they announce the cast of Fantastic Four. Who knows?
Wait, what's the release date on it? February?
I just lost my train of thought. November 2024.
November 2024. So yeah, July 2023. Yeah, it'd be too early for a trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have casting news by next San Diego Comic-Con.
They didn't tell us any of the other stuff in the middle of that time frame, but then did announce that May 2025 we get Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and then November 2025 we get Avengers: Secret Wars. So we get 2 Avengers movies within months of each other.
Yeah,
and there are 2 titles of some kind between those Avengers movies, be it Disney Plus shows or movies. I'm not sure.
And like New World Order, I love the character Kang, and I love the different versions they've done of him throughout the Marvel Universe. But man, that title's clunky. I really hope that gets reworked, because Avengers Kang Dynasty, like, I don't know why. It sounds like a bad True TV show. Like, I don't know what it is. The title's just, it rings wrong to me.
And it did come out at the end of Comic-Con that the Kang Dynasty film will be directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who was the director of Shang-Chi.
Nice.
He'll be directing Avengers 5. Yeah. The Russo brothers have said definitively they are not coming back to do Avengers movies.
Maybe we'll get super weird. Maybe they'll get the Daniels. So they'll go get another duo directing team, but they'll get the Everything Everywhere All at Once Daniels and have them make a really weird Avengers pair of films. That'd be awesome.
Don't forget, we could also get the Duffers too.
Yeah, Duffer Brothers.
Now,
I mean, there's lots of brother tag team director teams out there.
There's conspiracies there that he may direct both movies, but Marvel explicitly said he's directing the Kang Dynasty, not both. So just keep that in mind.
Well, and plus we know too, like with, depending on whose characters are in the film, like they had, the directors for all the other stuff. Like the Russo brothers had James Gunn on set for everything to deal with the Guardians. So it's not like, it's going to be a closed off set where other directors won't have influence.
Right.
Just like, with Star Wars, where they're doing The Mandalorian, they had a different director for like every 2 episodes, but they were all there for every episode. So like you'll have people like whatever films lead up to the King Dynasty, those directors are more than likely going to be on set while King Dynasty is being filmed to at least give input. I mean, they may not have, final say on anything, but they're going to be there to give input.
It's like what the Russos did with the Avengers movies when they were bringing in the Guardians for Infinity War. They were consulting with James Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that wrapped up the major announcements. They also announced new animated shows, just real quick. There's a Groot animated show, which I forgot the title of. X-Men 97, they showed off a little bit, and I think they confirmed to season 2. And they did say Magneto would be leading the X-Men in X-Men 97.
They confirmed season 2.
I believe so.
When the fuck is the first season?
I think it's coming up soon.
I don't know if it's good or not. I don't give a fuck about a second season quite yet.
Easily enough, the series of shorts for Groot is called I Am Groot.
There you go.
So, yeah.
What
else would the show be called?
They did announce a second season of What If. They did show off some stuff from Spider-Man freshman year. And I believe Charlie Cox is also voicing Matt Murdock in that, from what I had heard.
Which is weird because Tom Holland is not voicing Spider-Man.
And it's also weird because this isn't canon to the MCU Spider-Man. But it's the cartoon.
Like another What If story. Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. We're used to that. With how many different Spider-Man cartoons have there been over the last 20 years? Probably 20 versions
Well, and the new one, like I haven't watched it because it is very like kid focused. Like they aimed it at 4-year-olds, but they have a new Amazing Friends that's on Disney Plus, and it's literally just the Spider-Verse as a children's cartoon. So it's Spider-Gwen, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales running around being friends. I'm like, where's Firestar? Where's Iceman? What the hell, yo? Where's my Amazing Friends? I miss them. Yeah, the Groot one looks super cute. Yeah. And yeah, between Groot and Guardians 3, the fiance is super stoked because she loves nothing more out of Marvel than the Guardians characters. Those are her favorite things.
So that was the quick, well, not quick, that was the quick for how much content it was reveal of the Marvel Phase 5, 6 animated series stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming. A lot.
There is.
One last thing I want to touch on real quick out of Comic-Con, and I'll make it like 30 seconds or less, is that they did a lot with What We Do in the Shadows there. They had their own event and things like that going on. Matthew Berry, who was in lockdown in the UK, came to the States and didn't realize how popular the show was because people would see him on the streets and they'd start yelling Laszlo, or more popularly, Bat!
Nice.
So
Just yelling bat at
Just
him.
yelling bat
That'd
at
be
him.
Hilarious.
So I think he put it this way, that it wasn't really, he goes, it's moderately successful in the UK, to kind of put it politely, is what he said. And then he came back to LA for this and saw billboards and stuff like that and people yelling things out at him. So I just thought that was a fun little story, that he didn't realize just how big the show has gotten. And that was over 30 seconds. I apologize.
That's awesome. Yeah, because the same thing happened with because they said that happened with Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Edgar Wright the first time they came over to the U.S. after Shaun of the Dead had come out. Like, it was popular in the U.K., but they had no clue. Everywhere they went, they instantly got recognized. And like, we're just a couple of idiots from London. Like, how do these people know us? I was like, no, Shaun of the Dead is huge. Shaun of the Dead is an amazing film, and everybody's seen it. Yeah, it's. I bet it's got to be weird when you go from that point where it's like, oh, you're just an actor, but you can walk around in public and nobody really recognizes you, to every single place you go, you get recognized. That's got to be a weird turn in your life.
A controversial statement. Shaun of the Dead is the worst out of the trilogy.
It's not just controversial. It's just wrong.
No? It goes in reverse order. The third one, which is...
You think The World's End is better than Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead? What is wrong with you?
Yes.
Once again,
the dialogue.
Seen definite proof that Willie's film opinion is not good.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic in this house I built.
Ugh. Just makes me want to go, ugh.
That wraps up my stuff, though, out of San Diego Comic-Con. I think, Bachman, you had something for us coming out of Comic-Con as well.
I think mine was also mentioned there. So yeah, there was a big one. I don't know. Did you guys read Eragon growing up?
I got to the last book and I never finished reading it because it just kind of, I petered out. Let's just leave it at that.
I was just slightly too old for it, I believe. And so like I was reading, like in junior high, I was reading, like a lot of the actual Dragonlance books, the Forgotten Realms books, novels based on straight D&D that were actually put out by TSR. But then, like, as I was kind of getting out of those types of books, I heard about a book series where a ton of kids were just addicted to it, called Eragon, that did extremely well. There was a movie a little bit ago that did not do so well, but people still, like, ride or die for this series of books. And I was excited to see that not only are we getting, at San Diego Comic-Con, they had, like, the new House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones thing and all the ads for that, which I've seen that ad on, like, every episode of Shark Week, on every episode of like Face Off I watched this week. Like, they are advertising the hell out of Game of Thrones, which is funny because it's like, do they think people aren't going to watch it? It's Game of Thrones, and now with more dragons. Man. I mean,
there's a lot of people that felt burned by the end of Game of Thrones. Like my wife, for instance, was like,
it's a prequel. You already know what's going to happen,
but she doesn't care because they ruined the experience for her. She's like, why do I want to watch that shit? I don't like how any of it ended, and I don't trust them to do it right.
Now, see, and this is where I feel like Willie is his stand on Man of Steel, because I still love the last episode because it was just Tyrion talking shit for half an hour. And I love that actor, and he did so well with the script they gave him.
He was saying stupid shit.
That's not his fault.
He should be king because he has the greatest story of all time. What the fuck? What stories? What the fuck are you talking about? No way, you drunk.
But on top of all of that dragon shit, we are also getting more Eragon, which is going to return to Disney Plus with what was it? Let's see, Polini. So based on the Christopher Polini young adult novel series, The Inherent Cycle, and Eragon being the first of the 4 books in the series, Polini will serve as co-writer and executive producer on the series, and Bert Selke will executive produce under his Collab 21 banner with 20th Television producing. And they got basically just said, it's been a long time coming where they've been working on something. Polini said in a statement posted on Twitter, I can't tell you how many conversations, meetings, and messages were needed in order to reach this point, and we're still just at the beginning. However, none of this would have been possible without everyone who reads the book, supported the tweet storms, and participated in this fandom over the years. So a huge thank you from me to every Algacian out there. You brought the thunder. So it's kind of cool to see a guy that, like, this was like the big thing that he did. It made it all the way up to, like, they did a film of it, and then everybody's like, that movie wasn't great. And then they're like, okay, we're not done yet. Let's keep trying. And, like, now they're doing a Disney Plus show. Let's see, where was it? So, yeah, the film was widely panned by critics upon its release, though it made $250 million at box office against a reported $100 million budget. So if you double the budget for the advertising, which is normal, it still made money. But, yeah, so now they're getting a Disney Plus show. So I'm just excited to see what they do with it. because like there's a good chance this could be a really good version of it with the guy who wrote it, executive producing it. And this, I remember hearing so much about these books, but I never read them because like I'd just gotten past the age of reading like the young adult stuff at the time. So I'm really excited to see what they do with it, because Disney Plus also, like, it can't all be Marvel. I love my Marvel, I love my Star Wars, but they got to have other things too. And here's something that's a completely different IP. It's not Marvel, it's not Star Wars. It's just a different fantasy world, and where we're seeing, I don't know what companies do it, but we just got a Dungeons and Dragons trailer that actually has actually has actors in it that aren't a Wayans brother. And so it might actually do good because we have Chris Pine in a D&D movie. So like the idea, like that's coming out, we're getting more Game of Thrones, Eragon's coming out. They did, you know, the what was it, the Wheel of Time series on Amazon. That first season was fantastic. We're getting more of that. More Lord of the Rings is coming out. Like high fantasy is having like a nice little like blossom where we're getting a ton of this stuff, and most of it looks really, really good. And so yeah, I'm just excited to see what they could do with the show, because I've heard so much about it, but I've never read it. And so I'm kind of interested in seeing the show and then possibly going and reading the books. I now have the Robert Jordan Wheel of Time series like in my collection. I have the first book to read once I get done with that show. I figure, 2-3 seasons on Amazon, I'll eventually go back and read that. But like, I'll throw Eragon on the list too, because like I'd definitely check out that book, but I want to see the show first and see how it does. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Disney's doing with that, because yeah, it's not Marvel, it's not another superhero, and it's not more Star Wars. It's something completely different, and they're out there, getting some other IP, which, building up the catalog. And now as it's coming up to like I think the 3 years, pretty soon I have to pay for Disney Plus. I want more shows on that damn thing.
Yeah, the books are okay. I have the last one sitting on the shelf, and I never got to it just because I started kind of falling off, because Eragon felt kind of Gary Stewish to me, for lack of a better term.
Gary Stewish.
I mean, if you're familiar with the terminology of like Gary Stews and Mary Sues when it comes to books and media and
you mean like Luke Skywalker?
Yeah. You're not wrong.
The farm boy attacking the biggest, corporate planetoid in existence.
That being
takes
said,
out with one missile.
Christopher Paolini, or I probably said his name wrong, when he wrote these was like a teenager himself. So arguably he's probably grown in skill since then. So I hope it's better than I remember it being, though, when I just kind of went, why am I reading this still? I'm not having fun anymore. And I read like the first 3 chapters of the final book and was kind of like, because it was supposed to be a trilogy originally, and then he split the final book into 2, and I was like, well, I read book 3, and dear God, there was a lot of fluff in this. it just, I don't know, it kind of turned me off on. I hope it's good. I don't know if I'll watch it.
No, I'm paying for Disney Plus. I want to watch more shows.
I got plenty of stuff on there I still need to watch. I'll go rewatch X-Men 97.
I do need to watch the Industrial Light and Magic they finally put out.
That dropped today.
I've heard a ton of good stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that, because yeah, seeing those guys like inventing special effects in the 70s, like that's so cool. Everything they did for those Star Wars films, it was just them making stuff up on the spot. Well, let's see if this works. And I mean, they basically created an entire industry of film, just going, let's try this. I mean, that's genius.
But now that we're out of our San Diego Comic-Con part of things, 53 minutes into the show,
that's about normal.
Let's toss things over to Will. He's got some news that's not Comic-Con related.
Oh, what? Comic-Con related, but much better. Much, much, much better. So, I've been ranting and raving about this game series for a couple weeks now, if not since I started playing it about 2 years ago. The Yakuza games. Well, good news if you have PlayStation and PlayStation Plus, the PlayStation Plus Essential, the bottom tier. Because starting next Tuesday, I believe it's next Tuesday, yes, because that's the first Tuesday of the month, you will have access to Yakuza Like a Dragon, which, for all intents and purposes, is Yakuza 7. And if you've never played any of the Yakuza games, it is quite a fantastic jumping on point. It's a whole new protagonist, a whole new area, whole new plot line, and a whole new battle system. Because Yakuza 1 through 0, and then the remakes, it is a beat-em-up game, pretty much. Think of like Sleeping Dogs.
Which is a great game.
Oh, yes.
Sleeping Dogs is fantastic.
Yeah, so it's more akin to those. But also, even better news, other than Yakuza 7, Yakuza Like a Dragon coming to PlayStation Plus, if you have the mid-tier, which is PlayStation Plus Extra, I think it's called the namings. I'm never going to remember. I'm going to try to. I think it's Essential, Extra, Premium.
Willie, when are you going to get mad
That
about
sounds
this
right.
naming like you do about the naming of the Xboxes?
Because it's not that bad
It's
yet.
annoying. Yeah, it's annoying. I'll definitely give you that, but not enough to where it's like
Xbox
The
Series
console.
Xbox One, Series X1.
That's fine. I'm
What?
just
definitely-
poking you
it's
to be
definitely
annoying.
fucking annoying. Definitely. But yeah, I wish two of them didn't start with E's. I think that's what's really throwing me off. But yeah, but if you're on PlayStation Extra, the mid-tier, you will also later on in the year get access to Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2. And if you have the and also Yakuza 6. If you have the premium tier, because apparently that's where all their remakes or remasters and collections go, you will also have access to Yakuza 3, 4, and 5.
All right, so Will, you know I have Essential. You know I already have 9 games I need to play. But tell me why I need to start playing, what was it, Yakuza Konami? Number 7?
Kiwami, which pretty much just,
Kiwami.
translates to like extreme.
Okay. Why do I need to start playing that next month when I get access to it?
Just play like a
Well,
dragon.
I'm about to say, yeah, you can just try Like a Dragon starting this Tuesday. Just at least add it to your library.
Okay,
So-
the Like a Dragon is this Tuesday.
So
Yeah,
the-
and it's the one I'm currently playing right now.
Yeah, and
The
I've played
latest
through it a
one.
lot too. So my question for you would be, do you like JRPG style games?
Depends. I've found some I like and some I don't. It's really iffy.
And he does mean turn-based.
Yeah, turn-based strategy combat.
Because, I mean, the new Final Fantasy remake is technically a
That's true.
JRPG, but it's...
Yes, I was
Yeah,
thinking
there's
not the
old school.
classic.
Yeah. There's certain ones that I found I've loved and other ones I have not had any enjoyment in.
So-
So yeah, it's kind of a toss-up for me.
Like Willie had mentioned before with this game, Yakuza 7 pretty much changes everything up, and the main character thinks he's a video game character, for lack of a better term, and starts talking about his epic quest. And so that's kind of how they explain the battle stuff, is it's the way it is in his head.
Close enough.
Is that here's how he sees things. So you get like one of the teammates you have is like a hobo who can belch fire and stuff like that. It's not
Oh,
what
I
you
was
would
going to
have.
get to that. Yeah, so this game is very heavy on job systems. If you played Final Fantasies in the past, I'm hoping you know about job systems, which is pretty much class systems. What class are you? Every character has a bunch of different that you can choose from. It'll drastically change their stats and what kind of moves they can do. And it also changes their outfit. And as far as I know, each class also has 3 different variants of what outfit they can wear for it. It is hilarious. But also, Chris down there said, there is a homeless guy, and his job is homeless guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much he'll spit out some fire with a lighter, and one of his moves that I also like is he has like a magic ability where he throws seeds on the person, and they'll get pelted by pigeons.
Yes.
Pigeon Raid.
All right.
And I just recently unlocked Pigeon Swarm, which is a heavier version of it.
The game is really funny, and the characters are well developed, and you come to actually like a lot of these characters, and you come to like a lot of the stupid side story interactions these characters have while you're walking down the streets and stuff like that, because it feels like a living world. It's a lot of fun. I really like the game. I need to go back and play it again, but like I said in the pre-show, I got to a point where I need to grind to get money, and I was like, I don't want to do this right now because it had me playing a side game that I don't care.
The mini game with that little side game I was doing?
I think you can, but I hadn't played that mini game at all, and I didn't.
Oh, do it! It's so easy and fun. I mean, it was hard at me at first, but I was like, all right. But after just went and shot through it, I was like, okay, that's all you have to do. Boom, 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 done.
I'll get back to it, but there's another game I'm playing right now, which has got my attention. So after I beat that, I'll probably go back and play it. That's my plan.
An hour before we jumped on here, I was just starting that and just doing that for the hour before. And I earned about about 22 million, I think I said. Yeah, just that. I was just boom doing that. I was just ramping it up, boom, 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 just getting them out of the way, just doing monotonous. It is a little monotonous after you beat the storyline of it. And also doing the storyline gets that bond level. Oh yeah, if you ever played Persona, any of the Persona games, I know a lot of people play Persona 4 Golden. There's also like a teammate bonding that you can do in this game as well. And what that does is, if they're out of the party, they'll still gain levels and experience, even outside the party. 100% if you fully bond them up to level 5. But also, in mechanic-wise in the game, if your character does a normal attack and it knocks the guy on their ass, another character will probably come over to them if they have a high enough bond, and they'll take an opportunity of attack and hit them while they're down. And it's like it counts as an extra free hit.
Nice.
Da-da-da-da-da.
So
Yeah.
the characters are bonded well enough to do combos, basically.
Yeah, it's not that hard to get them up there either.
No, it's not.
And
And
they
some of the
start going
combos
at
are really
bond
cool.
level 1 too, but the frequency I think comes up with the higher bond level.
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, but the bonding's fun. Karaoke's back. Fucking love. There's a bunch of mini games. That's what this all sprinkled with is the main meat and potatoes is the super serious drama filled storyline, the main story, and then the anime bizarre shit as the side stories. Fucking amazing. And I just need to go back and beat Dragon Kart. I think I have to get a little bit further in the story to get to the last pre. Dragon Kart is a kart racing mini game that's in the game.
It's fun.
It's not the best kart racers. It's an all right kart racer, but it's built already within this other whole ass game.
Nice.
So you can't really fault it that much. And after that, if I would say, if you also want to start off with the other series, the Kiryu Saga, as I would call it, pretty much 0 through 6, is I would say either start with Kiwami 1 or 0. Either one would be good after that. Because those are good starting off points. Another one to argue is like a Dragon, because it's a whole new thing, and is the newest. If you have to have the newest, yeah, there you go. And also another jumping on point, which I hope they add these as well, is the Judgment series, Judgment and Lost Judgment, which is a spin-off series from Yakuza, set in the same fictional area in Japan that they have. I think they have like 3 different areas now. Kamurocho, which is the main from the main game, like we're from the first game, and they also added 2 other cities so far. Sotenburi, I forget where that is in Yokohama, I want to say. My memories of places in this fictional, the fictional little places within these big cities, my memory's a little bad. And Ijinchi, I think, is the city where Like a Dragon takes place, and I think Lost Judgment, the sequel to Judgment, takes place in there. You can go there as well. I think I've never played any of the Judgment or Lost Judgment games. Completely different protagonists, and those actually play like the Yakuza games, the first 7, where it's a beat 'em up style. From what I understand, they're turning the Yakuza series into that turn-based from now on, and they're leaving the Judgment to the old style, where they're both fun as hell. Bachman, did you ever play Final Fight?
Yeah, I played Final. Yeah, Hagar.
Yeah.
Hagar, Guy, and who was the other one?
Yeah. Place that in Guy and Cody.
Cody. Yeah.
Well, again, Guy was there. Don't forget that guy.
I said Guy. I said Hagar, Guy. And,
I didn't hear Guy. That was my bad. Yeah, think of make it 3D in a 3D environment. Put it in Tokyo, and put in outrageous super moves that you could just perform on the fly, like just full on picking someone up and like from like their waist and then just slamming them on their head. Some wrestling moves are in there too.
That sounds interesting.
And the story is super serious, but then everything else is wacky zany. Just try it. Well, at least those are for the Kiryu Saga. The new game, which you can get for free, next week, is the turn-based RPG. That is a little bit different. You can still do those moves, and they're in there. And I'm just circling around the same shit I've already said. So let me end.
I have to try to finish the first Uncharted so I can move on to something else.
You still haven't beat the first Uncharted?
Nah, I've been busy with something else I'll talk about
You've
when
been
I'm
at
getting
80%
into.
of that fucking game for like 4 months.
Yeah, for a while.
fucking just beat it. Just sit your
It took
ass
me
down.
4 years to beat Ghost of Tsushima, and it's only been out for 2. So what can I say? I play games
get
slow.
your shit together. Put it all in a bag and put it together.
Thank you for that, Morty. Oh, side note, Rick and Morty season 6 in September. That came out of Comic-Con too.
And they got abs now. They got abs.
They got abs.
I don't give a fuck until they take away that stupid fucking rule that they can't stream it for like half a year or a year till after it comes out. Fuck that noise.
I don't know. I record it on YouTube TV and watch it that way. So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
it's
to me.
still bullshit because I don't want to have any kind of live services fucking TV. That no one wants that. Get rid of it.
Works for me.
Actually, maybe keep it because the alternative is everyone's like they're starting Peacock, Apple TV. Yeah, that's the alternative. So yeah, keep live TV. I'm never gonna buy you, but other people.
I was gonna say, how many streaming services do you want to have? Because I've got like 13.
Yeah, I caught myself. I caught it.
Give him all of them.
We're just eventually gonna turn back to iTunes, where it's just buy for whatever you want.
That's art.
No renting.
When it comes to cutting the cord, that's some of the math some people do is be like, hey, I really like such and such and such and such program. Should I keep cable, or is it easier for me just to buy the season pass of those shows I like?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, sometimes that's cheaper, and ridiculously, sometimes that's more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
Some of what they charge for some of them shows on like Amazon and iTunes, it's like, who is buying this at that price? Holy shit.
But don't
pirate
it, people. Don't be like that.
Yeah.
Whoa. Listen to Chris. Don't pirate. But if they start fucking you around to where you're breaking point, I'm not going to blame you if you go over the edge.
Well, you heard it here. Willie's not going to blame you.
Not at all.
Step closer to the
I don't
edge.
think I'd be wrong in that either.
You're about to break.
You know what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to say very choice, careful words. I'm not telling you to do it. Would I be angry, upset at you if you did it because they keep fucking around and finding out? Not at all.
Would you really care if someone did it, though? I mean, does it
doesn't
impact
care
you
at
if
all.
person X goes and pirates show Y? Do you care?
Well, I've always said, with movies, like if you want better movies, you gotta, they have to know they're doing well, and they have to get a profit off of it. So that's the only way to get better movies. So
I went and paid to see Everything Everywhere All at Once in the theater in the very small release time that was available in Meridian, Idaho. You got to speak with your dollar, people.
Well, there you go.
And if they fuck around and do terrible shit, pirate, I say.
We almost made it out of there.
On that note, we're going to start wrapping things up. We do that with a traditional segment on this show, a bit called What I'm Into. It's when we share with you guys just what kind of geeky and nerdy things we've been getting into. Because, hey, if we share it, you may want to go check it out yourselves. And I'll start things off. Relatively small list, but finally starting Ms. Marvel. I'd been behind on that, but since it's all out, the wife and I have started watching it. We finished episode 1 so far, so we're not very far into it yet, but been enjoying it. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, I'm playing Far Cry 5 right now because that's on Game Pass. One of the things I didn't realize until someone on a Discord I'm on had mentioned it is that this is one of the games that was upgraded on the Xbox Series consoles to have FPS boost. It's not turned on by default, but I turned it on, which then moves everything to 60 frames per second instead of 30. It made a world of difference. I really enjoy it, and I've been having a lot of fun with the game. And I was cautiously optimistic that Far Cry 6 might be coming to Game Pass, and in fact, it got advertised, but then Ubisoft said that was a mistake, so I went, damn, should have spent the $12 during Prime Day to buy Far Cry 6. Oh well, maybe 6 months from now it'll be on Game Pass. I won't have to worry about it.
I'll just wait for that to go on Supercell or come to something, because
that's true.
It looked all right.
Been watching the new season of What We Do in the Shadows on FX and Hulu. It's the next day on Hulu. It's absolutely delightful. Child version of Colin Robinson's funny, and I love the show. It's so strange and weird and just utterly delightful. Go watch it. It's fun.
I'm going to have to get on that once I get done with The Sopranos. Because, yeah, I finally got through the first 3 seasons. Yeah, I love What We Do in the Shadows now.
We're only 4 episodes into season 4 right now. Or no, 3 episodes in, I think.
Nice.
3 or 4. I don't remember what week we're in of it being out, and the first week was 2 episodes. So it's either 3 or 4 episodes. I can't remember which. Oops, and I just hit my desk. All right, and I guess last thing I touched on at the beginning of the show, saying I was a little bit tired. I've been doing my DDP yoga for somewhere between 4 to 5 times a week, or 4 to 5 days a week, sometimes more than once in a given day, because some days I have to do multiple things. And I started it like March 20th, something like that. And as of this morning, down 40 pounds. So it's working for me.
Hell yeah. Good work, man. That's awesome.
And that is why this shirt fits again, which is my old school CM Punk t-shirt.
Oh, shit.
I was breaking out some old stuff that hadn't fit because I was a little too chunky.
What's under the Cobra logo?
It just says Punk.
It just says Punk? Oh, okay. I could only see the top of the white. I was like, wait, is that it? I thought it was just a Cobra shirt. I didn't realize it was a CM Punk shirt.
Yeah, this was... He doesn't use this one anymore, but this was like Ring of Honor era Punk kind of stuff. So I originally bought this shirt because after John Huber died, a.k.a. Mr. Brody Lee, CM Punk had said for the next week or 2 weeks, all of his t-shirt sales on Pro Wrestling Tees, he was giving the money to the Huber family. So I said, okay, good reason to pick up a new CM Punk t-shirt. A new old school CM Punk t-shirt. But that's what I'm getting into. Bachman, why don't you go next? What you been getting into?
The big one that's been taking up a bunch of time is DBD finally did their huge update. So they have changed the entire leveling and prestige system. They did some map reboots. They changed like 40 some odd perks. They updated the UI. They did a massive change. It's just been insane. They've done 2 patches since. But yeah, they went through and made it to where it used to be that you could only prestige a character 3 times. When you did that, you got bloody cosmetics of your character. Now the first time you prestige a character, it takes their specific perks at level 1 and gives them to all your other characters. And then at level 1. If you prestige them a second time, they get all the perks at level 2. Prestige them a third time, you get them all at level 3. So now, where I had characters where I had prestige 3 them before and had bought every perk on them, they give basically bonuses for how many perks you had. And so some of my new characters in the new system are prestige level 9 as soon as the new system kicked in, because you can go from prestige 1 to 100 now, and the little logo next to your name changes with a little number in it and different, little stuff on the outside of it. And yeah, it's made a huge difference where like the newest character, the newest survivor in the game, Hattie Cower, I only gotten her to level 50, hadn't prestiged her, and she now has like 7 pages of perks, because even the perks I didn't buy on the way up, if it's another character I have, she has at least their level 1 perk, because I had enough blood points saved up when the new system kicked in and I had everybody set at level 50. I've gone through and gone to prestige 1 on every survivor and every killer, which now means the next DLC that comes out, whoever the new survivor and killer is, when they start, having not spent any points on them, I will have access to every survivor perk in the game that comes with a character. I just won't have the general perks, at least at level 1. And then for characters like Dwight, Claudette, Meg, Jake, the original 4, I have all of them at level 9. So their perks will be available for a brand new character at level 3 from the get-go. And so, yeah, my plan at this point is to go all the way through. I prestige 1 every survivor and every killer. So any new character I buy has access to every perk in the game that you can get from another character. There are some common perks you still have to buy for the killers and survivors that aren't attached to a character. They're just game perks. There's a handful of those. But yeah, I've got it to where now I'm going through and leveling up each character to prestige 3, so that when I get a new survivor, the moment they come out and you buy them, I'll be able to start them off with like 7 pages of level 3 perks, and that's going to get rid of so much of the grind in this game that getting from where I'm at to that point is going to be kind of annoying. You have to take a character that's level 50, prestige them once, go up to 50 again, prestige them a second time, prestige them again, go up to a third time. But then, yeah, when they're prestige 3, every one of their perks is available for any character you ever buy at level 3 max, which is the max level. So it'll be nice once it's all done to have all of those in the system. And allegedly, they said Behavior did the math, and this is supposed to get rid of like 70 to 75% of the grind that they said was involved with trying to level up characters and get everybody all the perks. Because it used to be you got to prestige 3, and every time you prestige, you lost everything. And so after prestige 3, you'd be back at level 1, rebuying every single perk in the game. And there's something like 83 survivor perks. So you end up spending something along the lines of 8 million blood points going through blood web after blood web after blood web, buying level 1 of a perk, then buying level 2 of a perk, then buying level 3 of a perk, It was insane. And so they're trying to fight against that. But at the same time, they did just some of the changes they made are just awesome. Some of them are not quite so fun. There's been a lot of like back and forth, especially on the DVD Twitter community about which changes are good, which changes are bad. A lot of it is just people doing with a ton of changes at the same time because like they changed maps, they changed the prestige system, they changed the leveling, and they also changed like 40 some odd perks all at once. And so having all of those changes hit a game that, you know, people are constantly playing all the time and there was really a meta in place, it's completely changed like people running dead hard every single match, which I kind of like seeing because I think dead hard is a crutch perk, and if you need it, I hate you as a survivor.
Really?
But yeah, dead hard's awful.
I've never really used it, so I never really saw the appeal to it.
There's so many people that relied on that are just crying. If you go look at any post that Behavior puts out right now, within 5 responses, you will see somebody crying about how they need Dead Hard back because they can't play without it. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's made a huge change in the game where we had a couple of days where like me and the fiance were playing and some of the matches were awful. The killers were just camping and tunneling everybody. But then last night we played maybe 7-8 matches in a row and every match was good. Everybody's running different perks, and killers and survivors are now trying new perks, which that's half the fun of it, is you're trying new things to try to come up with, you know, not necessarily a new meta of 4 perks that everybody's going to run, but just trying to find 4 perks that are fun for you. And they added a lot of the base kit stuff in where, like, off the hook, every survivor has 5 seconds where you can't be tunneled. It's not always enough to help because some killers just keep following you until they can hit you and they down you again anyways. But yeah, the majority of the changes they've done are really good. It's making the gameplay better. When the killer is not an asshole, it makes the game more fun. So that's been fun to see. And then the other big thing for me this week was while fighting with our AC unit that's going out, which I'm probably going to have to replace, which sucks. I was introduced to Shark Week for the very first time. Jana loves Shark Week. I've never watched it. I've never at any point did I have cable when Shark Week was on and had the Discovery Channel and watched it. And so it's been really interesting because also she jokes that like they're ruining Shark Week because they put on multiple Jackass episodes, multiple Impractical Jokers episodes, and the MC is The Rock, which just means he's there to advertise for DC League of Super Pets. But it's been fun. We've watched some really like interesting episodes and then some real dumb, you know, Jackass episodes, but I told her like, hey, they knew people like me weren't watching, and so that's why you got the Jackass version of Shark Week.
Wait,
trying to get more eyes on it.
Little show Jackass.
Yeah, little Jackass Shark Week, and they showed like last year, one of the characters, one of the guys who goes by the name Poopies, actually landed on a shark going. They took him through a boogie board off a ramp, and like there were sharks in the water they jumped for. He landed, hit a shark, and the shark almost bit his hand off. And this year, they got Poopies back in the ocean with more sharks.
So it's not the literal show Jackass. It's not the little show. They're just being like the show Jackass.
Poopies is in the last Jackass movie. I mean, he's a Jackass
he's
guy
in the last
now.
So it's literally the crew of Jackass doing an episode of Jackass for Shark Week for Discovery.
I'm on the same page.
Everything they're doing is in the ocean, and it's all ridiculous because it's the Jackass crew. But at the same time, I found most of it, disgusting. Most of it was disgusting. Because, like, they put, like, Wee Man in a chicken suit and, like, put him in a shark cage just to see if, you know, sharks like chicken, which, of course, is not exactly, like, you know, a real scientific test. But it was funny as hell to see Wee Man in a chicken suit. So, doing stupid stuff like that. They put Wee Man in a tank and had him get shocked by an electric eel to see what would happen. Like, just a bunch of stupid stuff. But, yeah, it's been entertaining. The advertising got me too. Last night we had Sonic for dinner, and I got me a Shark Week slushie it's a blue slushie where they pour like it's a fruit puree on top of it that looks like blood, and they put gummy sharks in the top of it, which is actually really good. Went well with my burger. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. I've been enjoying watching Shark Week so far. I don't know if I enjoy it quite as much as my lady does, but I've enjoyed it. It's been funny. Then one show they did was it was a 2-hour long show about a guy that like suffered a stroke, and just the pacing of the show was awful. And like it literally could have been like a 15-minute tribute to this guy who, like, you know, did a lot of stuff with sharks for his whole career, and like they just drug it out over and over and just kept replaying the same footage. And like that one bugged me just because like you guys are trying to do like a tribute to somebody, and it's like the most poorly edited show I think I've ever seen. And that just made me feel bad because like the dude had a stroke, and I feel bad. Like it sucks. Like it messed up his vocal system. Like he couldn't talk to people. Like he had to go like basically like relearn how to walk and talk again. And like they're doing what should be a like a heartwarming tribute for this guy, and instead like they drug out a 15-minute video into an hour and a half of just bad television. But there's been some real cool, interesting stuff on there. Like they did like the Kraken versus Jaws. They did people doing weird, scientific experiments with sound effects and the sound like a shark makes is when they breach and then smack down into the water, and like what sharks, how they react if they hear that sound like played through a speaker. So yeah, it's been cool to see Shark Week, and yeah, I'm interested in watching a little more of it this week. I don't know if it's something that I'll be gung ho for every year, but it's been entertaining, so I don't hate it. But yeah, those are the two big things I've been into this week.
Nice. Willie, why don't you finish things up for us? What you been getting into, buddy?
Since the last time I've been here, I went and finished Yakuza Kiwami 2, and I'm going to have to say the ending was kind of meh. Everything else before that, it doesn't matter. That's my favorite Yakuza game as of right now is Yakuza Kiwami 2, just because of everything in it. Everything. Just because the story petered off at the end was kind of meh, doesn't mean it was bad. It was just meh. So, everything else, the greatness outshines that ending to make it not even so bad at all. And then right after that, started Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon. And I've been streamlining that shit out. It's so much fun. Got my characters up to the level 30s so far. It's nice. It's nice. I did try to go to the first dungeon. I'm not sure if it's the only dungeon. I'm not sure. And I proceededly to got my ass handed to me at the boss at the end of it, which is a giant Roomba.
The boss is a Roomba?
Yes, it's a giant Roomba.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I want to see that.
Level 40. And I'm so I was only like level 25 to 28 somewhere in there with that fight. I was like, oh, everything else was all right till this. Oh, level 40 fucked me over. But yeah. Game has been super fun. Other than that, I've also watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought I went in with expectations of how the story was going to go, and I was completely wrong. It was all right. It was something. I get there was a message there, but it was an all right movie.
The Daniels tell stories the way they tell stories, and they do that in a way no one else does.
I would say it was badly done. It just probably wasn't to perfectly my taste, but it was an all right. I mean, it's a mother-daughter story. I mean, I can only get so much out of it and still feel. You know what I mean. I'm not trying. Not bad at all. I enjoyed it. But then the better one I would say that I did watch was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, you did finally see it. I can't believe I saw that before you.
I still have to watch
Nick Cage pillow. And I saw that before Willie.
Two of them. I own two of the pillows.
Oh, dear God.
Well, remember the two different ones. One is just his face that you've probably seen everywhere. Actually, it's the pillow that's in there. That's in the movie.
Yeah, it's in the movie.
It's right over there. And then the other pillow is like a screenshot of like his face as he's like screaming to Jesus at the very beginning of Face Off when he's dressed as a and the
when he's
collar.
molesting the girl in the choir.
She is definitely underage in that, right?
Oh yeah, that's kind of the whole point. Is that he's an awful person.
And what he says, like grabbing her ass and just going hallelujah, and it's just a screenshot of his face during that.
Yeah.
I had to pinpoint it and find it because it's just his face going, oh. So it's like, there's a bunch of places where his face goes, oh.
Yeah, but that one's very specific.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, as he's just driving down the road, just like, rah, shit. Like, I was just leaning over my buddies, like, I bet the director is like, hey, Nick, just do whatever you do, like, when you're just driving down the road. And just him doing crazy shit, like, perfect.
I think that's what half of the unbearable likeness of being is. The unbearable weight of massive talent is just.
Hey Nick, just do whatever you normally do in this situation.
Well, him and Ginger Wren. What's his name?
Pablo Pascal.
Pablo. It's telling the two of them just do what you want to do. Because it just seems like they both kind of went nuts, but also had an amazing time together. It seems like that might have been the funnest film to make in like the last 10 years of just two guys just goofing off on set.
I thought Tiffany Haddish was going to have a bigger role in that movie too, because she's up there. She's the third name in there. Like, okay.
It really is. It's the two of them. Like the rest of that cast are not on screen much. It's those two actors. Which, if you want to see those two guys going crazy, like it's fun. Like there's some powerhouse acting for the both of them.
Yeah, I like how there's like a little sprinkle of Taken in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just Nick Cage in a Taken situation, kinda. Not really the exact same scenario, but it's like what would Nick Cage do if he was in a Taken situation? Just like Willy's Wonderland was, what was Nick Cage do if he's in a Five Nights at Freddy's scenario?
It's grotesque. I'll give you $20,000 for it.
Fucking good. Pretty sure that's everything. Has it been everything? Pretty sure. Yeah, everything I've been into. Let's just call it there. Oh wait, this weekend, Saturday and maybe possibly also Sunday, I will be streaming out on Twitch a tournament that I'm technically hosting for the game Wreckfest, which is a demolition derby racing game. If you have the mid-tier PS Plus, hey, congratulations, you have access to it.
Nice.
So I got a bunch of people playing it, and we're having a whole tournament cup styles thing going on. There's no cups in the game that you do, so I had to make up a bunch of my own. So there was a bunch of homework that went into it.
Willie's doing homework. What the hell?
Willie's doing homework? What the hell?
Oh, man? Yeah, I went into which tracks, which variants of the tracks, and how many laps we're going to be doing, and also I also let them know what percentage is tarmac and how much percentage is gravel in the track, because all tracks have different percentages of it. There's some that's all tarmac, some of them are a mixture, like it goes half and half or somewhat, and then some only have some tarmac on some of the turns, and that's all you got. It kind of tells you what you should be prepared for your vehicle tuning wise.
All right.
So I did all that research for him and prepped that up for him, and I already got some up.
Well, on that note, then, we're about to shut things down. So if you'd watched us live, thanks for watching us live. If you're catching the replay on YouTube or on our feed, thank you for catching it there. We'll be back next week with more of our typical ridiculousness and shenanigans. I think that's the best way of putting it.
Shenanigans.
Do you guys have any final thoughts before we shut this thing down?
No, let's hurry up so I can start this game up.
Willie's got some video games to play, so I guess
I got some Yakuza. I got like a dragoning going.
Is anybody else really looking forward to next Friday? Because if I think next Friday is when everything comes out on August 5th. There's like 5 movies and like 10 different TV shows all coming out on August 5th. Like almost.
Yeah, what movies?
I can't remember, but I just remember seeing August 5th is on everything. I can't.
God damn it!
There's so many things coming out that day, but I can't remember any of them. But like, there's like 10 different TV shows that are launching on August 5th. It's ridiculous. Everything I see coming out has August 5th as the release date.
Well, if you know what he's talking about, tweet us. Let us know what's coming out. Because we don't know. But we're getting out here, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining us. And like I said, if you know what the hell these shows and movies are, tweet us at ATGN Podcast. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.